Facelift. The facelift is a procedure that's used to try to reverse the changes of aging. The idea of the facelift is that, the idea of the facelift is that when you age, you end up with a loss of fat in the face and a descent of the fat pads of the face. The idea of the facelift is to return these fat pads to their normal positions of youth. What you're physically doing with the facelift is you are lifting the skin away from the face and then using sutures to plicate these fat pads and move the fascia above the muscles that contains the fat pads up in a vertical direction to their position of youth. The next thing you're doing is you're just using in a vertical direction. You're taking the skin of the face and redraping it to take away extra skin in the face. It's really, though, the fascia below that's being used to give the strength of the facelift. The skin is not something that will hold up over time. So just a skin lift, pulling the skin tighter, doesn't hold up over time. It gives a done look because skin will always stretch and move. It's the fascia that has to be moved for the facelift. Now, the facelift procedure for most patients is not terribly painful. Most people, pain medicine for 4 to 5 days and things like that, but not extremely painful. You will be swollen, and most people 10 to 14 days are not going to be out much because of the bruising and swelling after the facelift. At that time, most people are kind of getting back out and doing everyday things, but still swollen. It will be 2 months, 3 months for that swelling to go down to kind of get more of a semblance of what the result and things will look like. The facelift, again, is a procedure that will rejuvenate the look of the person, and moving the cheek fat pads up, removing the jowls, gives a youthful look. The goal of the facelift, or the goal of my facelift, is to make a natural appearing facelift that doesn't look like you had surgery, in the sense that you don't want telltale signs of a facelift, like the ears being deviated, loss of the tragus in front of the ear, swept lines on the skin being too tight, too shiny, and too pulled. Those things are dead giveaways that a person's had a facelift, and those are things we want to avoid. We want to hide the scars, hide them behind the tragus, keep the natural shape, keep the ear, to maintain the ear, keep the ear in a natural position, maintain the tragus. Those are the things we're doing to try to make a facelift look natural. The goal is that when we do a facelift, you don't walk into a room and everyone knows you had a facelift. We want just you to walk in the room and you're just younger. You're younger. You just have the shape of the face you had in youth, and that's the goal. That's the goal of a facelift. The recovery from the facelift, again, not terribly painful, and people, will have their final look 2 months, maybe even 4 months after. To kind of get the final idea of the facelift. The complications of the facelift. The things you have to worry about are nerves. The facial nerve is at risk with a facelift, and you have to be very careful in order to protect this. This could, if an injury to the facial nerve, could cause problems with the eyebrow not raising, could cause problems with the corner of the mouth not moving correctly if those nerves are damaged. Infection is very rare in a facelift. Bleeding is a common complication of facelift, and sometimes if there's a hematoma, a collection of blood, you may have to go back to surgery and drain a hematoma. Skin loss, especially in smokers. You have to be very careful with a facelift in a smoker, because the smoking decreases blood supply to the skin, and the skin can die and slough, and that's usually going to be in front of the ear. So you have to be very careful with that, and that is a complication of facelift. The other things are just what we talked about, the nerve injury and the loss of the mouth moving correctly, the loss of the forehead moving correctly, and things like that. These are the complications and things you have to consider with a facelift. The goal of my goal of the facelift is that you look younger, but no one will know you had a surgery. Thank you.